Grenada's economy is heading for its 7th year of consistent growth, averaging over 5%. Unemployment was reduced by 20%, while debt to GDP ratio was reduced from 108% to 63.5%. NNP committed to the economic and social development of our people. NNP delivering on the promise.
Only the few will see when you set the bar, but everyone will know when you've raised it.
Welcome to party. We are the greatest.
We have done it again in this, the era of greatness, with the biggest white.
We bring the most vibes.
Watch greatness unfold with Mr. Killer, Wasways, and Lava Man, and more of Grenada's best, featuring headliner Marshall Montano and the Monk Band.
We great, absolutely.
Be at the National Cricket Stadium on Saturday, August 10th. Get your tickets now from GoToFed.com and all Sunshine Promotions box offices. The biggest white. It's where greatness lives.
We are the greatest.
It's coming. The new family of EC Polymer Notes.
What is different about these notes?
The feel.
Polymer notes are made from a thin plastic film which makes the notes feel smoother than the paper notes.
The orientation.
The notes have a portrait orientation. You will read the notes from top to bottom instead of left to right as you do with the paper notes.
Unique tactile feature.
The front of each note has raised bumps at the top left-hand corner. These bumps form shapes that are familiar to you.
Holographic foil strip.
This feature is on the $20, $50, and $100. When you tilt the notes, the images and colors in this section will change.
New image on the $50.
The back of the $50 bears the image of former governor of the ECCB, the late Honorable Sir K. Dwight Venner.
New signature.
All the notes bear the signature of the current governor, Timothy N.J. Antoine.
EC Polymer Notes. Cleaner, safer, stronger.
Grenada! We will make Jab Jab great again! Yeah! From St. Patrick to North, everybody will be heading to the National Stadium as Stag and Star Boys promotion present Jab Jab! Jab Jab Fest 13! Friday, August 2nd, we'll be fetting and drinking free drinks all night. Gates open from 10 p.m. Live performances from Grenada's very own top artists. We're going to have a jambalous time. Get your early bird tickets for only $25. 30 before midnight. Your ticket outlets: Chucky's Bar, Grenada Optical, Curlac, Big Barbershop, Archibald Distributors, and 3O's Auto. This one's going to be big. It's Jab Jab Fest Free Drinks Edition. Remember, wear old clothes, paint torn, and come with your crew, cause there's prizes to be won. This year, we will make Jab Jab Fest safe again. But most of all, we will make Jab Jab great again. Sponsored by Stag, Captain Harris, Coca-Cola, Campari, IAL, Boss FM, Monster, Easy Power FM, and What's the Whole Rum.
Hello, my name is Michaela Williams, winner of the Festival of the Arts Secondary School Solo Pan Competition. And these are my colleagues.
We are members of the Full Comancheros Steel Orchestra, your current panorama champions.
Having won 3 of the last full panorama competitions in Spice Mass.
We are inviting you to Spice Mass 2019, especially junior and senior panorama, at the National Stadium on Saturday, 10th August 2019.
Come and enjoy the experience, the excitement, and the skills of the players of the various steel orchestra. Suzuki Pan Wizards,
Republic Bank Angel Apps,
New Dimension,
Panacea,
Melody Warriors,
Rainbow City All-Stars, Grand Roy Pan Angels,
Digital Florida All-Stars,
and of course, Flow Comancheros.
After Panorama, you can join us on the road for Juve and Parade of the Bands on Monday the 12th and Tuesday the 13th of August.
Spice Mass 2019. Don't miss it.
Do it right.
morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. My name is Sheldon Scott.
I'm Devon Romain.
And we have in studio with us the original SVW. I wonder if I'm saying that properly.
Yes.
I just had to be on my P's and Q's when that lady around, because from ever since, that is like, that is one of the people. When you're talking media in Grenada, you're talking that lady.
She's a beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Good morning to you, Miss Sherma Wells.
Oh, give me all your old bag and I'm taking every bit of it. I ain't blushing. I'm taking everything.
Well, you know what? People radio and things just go up a little louder when they hear Sherma Wells in the studio.
Good morning to all the listeners of Hard Talk. I know that you're out there, especially Miss Cammy. I can't forget her.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Cammy down there.
It's a pleasure to be here finally. I've been begging for an invitation. And finally, a little bird said, could you come up here on Monday? I said, of course. And I've been here since 9:30.
Yeah,
so you must be doing something good, you guys, to get me up here.
And the thing is, we have independence celebrations, not independence,
no,
emancipation celebrations coming up.
That's correct.
You're the CEO of the Cultural Foundation, doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I know because I hear the reports and so on. So while a lot of people out there might not hear the reports, I hear the reports.
You get the reports.
I know that you're busy as
you
what?
Get the reports.
Yes, I get it in writing. So I know that you're busy.
Indeed.
Whether it's assistance or Soraka or Salaka, I'll use it.
Whichever way, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Or it's one of the Maroon festivals or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Community-based on a national level, the Cultural Foundation is involved.
And Sheldon, saying that is so key because a lot of folks underestimate the Cultural Foundation and its work in Grenada. We are very small but very effective because we are responsible also for all the parish organizations. So when people see things happening in their parish, they're not aware that the Cultural Foundation is the umbrella body and offer guidance and, assist them in planning and that sort of thing along the way. We know that some of the parish organizations have had issues over the past few years in terms of how they handle their festivals and so on. For example, take St. Patrick. We've had some issues there, which we have taken some measures to try to ensure that it can be resuscitated at a strong level. That's SPOD. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't a St. Patrick Day celebration for this year. And we had to make some harsh decisions in order to ensure that we can proceed at a stronger level going forward. So we apologize to the folks in St. Patrick who would have looked forward to having it, but it was a matter of literally life and death for the organization. So we had to take that and advise them along that way. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things that we do.
Fisherman's birthday again.
Fisherman's birthday. We've been working with the GOV committee for a few weeks, from ever since. Mm-hmm. I will recall that about 3 years ago, the existing committee sort of left things undone, and we had to come in at the request of the minister, the parliamentary representative, to see how we can help the committee itself establish itself and generate some plans and move forward. Since then, we've been working with them. We also conduct elections, we involve in electioneering as well for the parish organizations. So if any organization or they want us to conduct an election for them, we have the process tied down. We can do that. So we basically conduct the elections in the various parishes and ensuring that they get a good cadre to run the community organization. We're still working on St. David, as you know, the Virgin Parish. They have started with a committee basically for Carnival. And we have advised them that they need to broaden the committee to be the representative body for the parish and not just for Carnival. So we're still in the process of making sure that can happen because we cannot assist them from our perspective until they have that non-profit organization registered. There's certain things that must be in place for a parish organization to be recognized by the government. And once that is done, then we take control basically over their operations and how they do it, Every year they have to submit to us at the Cultural Foundation financial report, their budget for the following festival, reports in totality. And I can assure you, Sheldon, that very little goes bypass me. I ensure that,
not even my fine tooth comb, my vacuum.
And there are times when I have to send that report, sometimes 3 times, because it is extremely important to be accurate. A lot of the communities out there, the committees out there, they figure that putting figures on paper is all that it takes, but your figures must correlate. You can't say to me in 2018, you generating $3,000 in an event, and then in 2019 you're telling me you're generating $20,000. That's a miracle. And these things I will pick up very easily. So a scrutinizing of all their records, and if things are not right, because a lot of these organizations don't have a professional accountant working with them. At the same point in time, we would guide them, we will tell them what they need to do. We say, listen, man, you can't expect such a large increase. Maybe a 10% is fine, that sort of thing. So we scrutinize everything. We ensure that their plans for the following year, they're workable. We try to encourage them to look at success rates and ensure that whatever they do, there is a measure of success. If you're failing at it, there's no sense in you continuing it. Streamline. And ensure that you keep within your budgetary confinement, because a lot of them like to just have big activities, and next thing you know, they end up in debt.
Well, we're talking here about the ones on mainland, but the Cultural Foundation also deals with the Petit Martinique committees and the Carriacou committees and so on, interacts with them as well.
Yes, there is a Carriacou and Petit Martinique Festival Board, and we have James Stafford, Skylark, who is on our board. MBE, that's right, and he's a chair. So he reports to us. We also, Spice Mass reports to us as well. The museum reports to us. You're on the board. He's on the board. And he is our representative on the museum, so he reports back to us. So all these bodies report back to the Cultural Foundation. And that is the way it ought to be, because once you talk about the Cultural Foundation, when you look at the Cultural Foundation in Barbados, it's a robust body, and everything cultural falls under them. Crop over, whether the jazz festival a few years ago when they had Carifesta there, that's the umbrella body that handles all of that. We are not that robust, but one day we will get there, and we'll have everything that would be part and parcel under that big umbrella. Hopefully we'll get there soon.
What do you see as some of the major achievements so far of the Cultural Foundation since you have been there?
Well, a number of things have been happening. One of the things I would like to highlight there, Sheldon, we're going back to the parish organization, is the structuring and the policy direction that we have offered them. We have armed them with certain protocols to conduct their business. And how, of course, take, for example, the planning and execution of an event. They have a protocol that deals with that was developed by me. And that helped them to better themselves along the way. So working with them is certainly an achievement. We've been able to put a lot of structure in place. It's a work in progress, but it's happening. We have been able to keep alive the Anti-Tech Festival. Now, some folks may refer to it as being a big festival, a whole 2 weeks long, and so many different things happening. It did happen that way when there were funding available from UNESCO. We don't have that available at the time, but we ensure that we keep that alive. Why? There's so many Grenadian authors out there now, and this is a platform for them to be able to expose their work to the rest of the Grenadian population. And that takes place in October. We also introduced the cultural awards. We felt it fitting to start honoring our cultural practitioners in the nation.
Yes.
And that has been its second year and was last year. We decided,
Well received, though.
Well received. The recipients are extremely proud. As I look at the Jambalasi rule rhythm that has been recreated this year, we do recall that last year we honored Moss International, year before, and Don Charles for the same purpose, because they are the ones that started with the Jambalasi rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Today we speak of it as being our music. If I may say, at this point in time, we're also looking at a UNESCO project that can help us more or less formalize our music, like they did for Jamaica with reggae.
So, stick up. We're getting into the area now of Grenada's music going under UNESCO. We're formalizing the thing
That's
now.
right. That's
so
what
that
we're
there's
trying
a
to do.
specific rhythm and beat that comes out of the island of Grenada.
Of Grenada.
And that's going to be formalized and protected.
Well, we're processing it in that direction because, when we look at what is happening in the region now, Sheldon, the beats being exposed, and transitioning to Trinidad. Listen to it. St. Vincent. And every year you're hearing a little bit of it in the different music throughout the islands. So we have to ensure that we can say this is ours. We speak about it. Sheldon, we speak about the oilang being our national dish, but there is absolutely no documentation or legal protocol or any sort of copyright as to the oilang being a national dish. Who's to say that Guyana or Trinidad with the watery oilang is making and I'm saying
That's not
that's
oilang.
a dish? We know you have your training contact.
Breadfruit soup. That it does make in them place and call oil breadfruit soup.
We have to get serious about these things. Like an old lady said, growing up, she thought the flamboyant. You see, the flamboyant was the national flower. But we know it's a bougainvillea.
Yeah.
You understand? Maybe years ago they say it was the flamboyant.
Prior independence, it probably was.
So we have to ensure that we can claim these things as ours.
What protects Grenada in the instance of, let's say, a company in China right now decides that they're going to start producing oil down, and they sell a package that you just take and you pour in the pot or you put in the microwave and it's oiled down.
Everything turned into oil down.
What protects Grenada at this stage to say that, some sort of money needs to come to Grenada because oil down is our national dish? Is there anything that protects us?
You have no claim. Absolutely nothing at this moment.
So it's just a mouth. We say, it's oil.
Our own people saying that because remember, before the oil became the national dish of Grenada, pilau was, because it was the most cooked meal.
You would know. I ain't go kind of know. Devon might know. I ain't go know. I kind of just come.
Yeah. So, these are the things that we have to see and work on and see the best way to ensure that it remains to us as ownership on it, you know. And to start with the music is key and it's important, When you look at, take pan. We hear pan, Trinidad pan, and American owns pan.
Yeah, I think someone has copyrighted it and so on over there.
So who are we to talk about not wanting to have legally what is ours? We have to, we have to move in that direction, and hopefully we will work. We've had little discussions with some persons who can assist us in that direction. As a matter of fact, a young lady, she's a professor at WI. She's the daughter of Grace Mitchell. She was here in Grenada recently when they had the symposium on the revolution. And we had quite a healthy discussion as it relates to our music. And interestingly, Sheldon, the conversation surrounded a group of students at WI. It was up online at some point in time. When Mr. Killer won the competition in Trinidad, and in some social event, the Trinis in Jamaica studying say that there is Trini music. And them Grenadians start to react. And apparently it created a whole discussion with the professors and everything about this music that belongs to Grenada. You know? So for them to want to say that, it tells us that we have to ensure that the world knows that this is our music.
Yeah.
You know?
So, folks, we're speaking with Miss Sherma Wells. Yes, we're speaking with Miss Sherma Wells in studio with us right now. And she is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Cultural Foundation. So we're speaking a bit of culture here right now. In general, yeah, because in case you all don't know, we ain't copyright or patent oil down. So somebody could just come from any country right now and patent oil down, and we might actually end up having to pay them.
Well, you
might
never
have to
know.
pay them.
But you know, these are the things, Sheldon. For example, we may take it as, you know, something frivolous and casual. How do you patenting your national dish can bring a measure of income to your country? Let's say, for example, I decide to write a cookbook, and I want to put oil in it. The fact that it belonging to someone, you must get permission. How do you deal with that permission? Should you pay for it? If you're a famous chef out there like Ramsay, and you want to put oil in your cookbook that will make you millions, don't you think that I should benefit from it?
Or even if you put it in a chain of restaurants.
Something,
there has to be some sort of income coming back to the island of Grenada.
Precisely. But I want to say something as we speak on this copyright issue, Sheldon, and what a lot of people don't know out there. There are several names that happen to be copyrighted to Spice Mass, including the word Spice Mass. And we hear a lot of usage of Spice Mass, Jab Jab, you know, and nobody's paying attention. But they need to get authorization from Spice Mass to use these things.
So, for instance, if I say I'm having Jab Jab Fest.
Listen, before you go there, a lot of money was spent, to copyright these names, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because I happened to be around when the lawyers were paid. Yeah? So there you have so many, and not only in Grenada, you know, in the diaspora, you have people using certain things, certain names that are registered legally to the Spice Mass Corporation. T-shirts, banners, fetes, all these people. But of course, you know, once you start asking for a little fee, everybody, woo, woo, the government wanted parents, this and that and the other. But they're using it in so many different ways.
To raise money.
Yes, and they copyright. There's a list. I don't have the list with me at the moment, but I can certainly send it for you.
Yeah, I think we need to get the list so
There's
that
a
we
list.
could inform the diaspora and locally as well, because there are folks that use different, and I think I know one or two of them, and there are people that are using it, local groups and promoters and so on that are using it, and actually should be paying for it. For using it and so on.
Right, there is, I think it's about 9 or 10 different names and so on.
Might need to expand it.
Yeah, maybe, you know. But I'm saying this to say sometimes we take these things as being frivolous, for granted, and they are things that can generate funds for us. Yeah.
We see the move by the Spice Mass, not Spice Mass Corporation, but by the Grenada Cultural Foundation to organize a national dress. It's been something that's been spoken about for many, many years. What is Grenada's national dress? And earlier this year, we saw the announcement of an official competition for that and moving into getting designs and so on. Where are we at with the national dress for Grenada right now? So that when our people go to the Pan American Games as they're there right now, preparing to come back with some medal, they could have it on when they're going.
I'm glad that you asked that because, Sheldon, we got into that since January of this year. We had 16 designers submitting designs. There were 20 designs because you could submit more than one set. However, we felt that after looking at the designs, we felt that there is a lot more that can be offered from Grenadians. We want to make sure that when we choose, or when the designs, the national wear is chosen, it is well chosen and we have the very best. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying within what we have, we cannot find that there. But we felt that we needed a lot more options. Yeah? Mm-hmm. This is something that our people will be using and have to live with for the rest of their lives, generation after generation. That is the idea of a national wear. So we have to be extremely careful as to what we have. The criteria has been given. People come up with all different types of designs. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So we opened the competition. An announcement was made earlier on in July. The competition is opened until the end of September. Mm-hmm. We decided, especially for people out there, not only in Grenada, because once you're a Grenadian, wherever you are, there are loads of designers all over. They have the opportunity to submit designs. And we have a very lucrative prizes. The winner will receive $10,000. The first 5, we're going to be choosing, the judges will choose the best 5. Mm-hmm. And each one will receive $1,000. And that is basically to assist them in actually making the garments. Okay. Right? And then the winner first prize gets $1,000, and it is scaled down as you go along. So we have opened back the competition to the end of September. We're just getting ready to start promoting it. We want to do so through Spice Mass and so on, and to rev up on the whole thing. And hopefully we will be able to make it for the 2020 Independence celebration.
I want you to ensure that our Grenadians who are listening in the diaspora, because we've got literally thousands of people listening in the diaspora now, know that the competition is open to them too. It's not just open to people on island.
Oh yes, it's open to.
We want you all to be part of it.
Once you're a Grenadian citizen, you're entitled to participate. Doesn't matter what part of the world.
No Trinidadians, you can't take part.
You could be living in Trinidad, of course, and once you're a Grenadian, you can take part. And they have a few of them out there that we haven't received any from them. Let me just say this: at this stage, we require you to send your drawings in to us. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Some have sent in prototypes, fine. But if you figure that you're living abroad and you want to email us your drawings, gcfmanager@gmail.com. That's gcfmanager, very simple, at SpiceIsle. SpiceIsle.com. gcfmanager@spiceisle.com. You email your drawings, and that is what we expect at this stage. Yeah? Mm-hmm. I have heard people say, well, I can't draw. Get somebody to draw. It doesn't matter. You can get somebody to draw your idea is for you. That's not a problem. Another person says, well, I can't sew. Then hire a seamstress at the end of the day when the time comes
Become
to
a
sew.
team.
Precisely. Or you can get into a group. Yeah? Mm-hmm. A group could design it as well. So we're looking forward to getting some more entries.
I would think that someone would be absolutely proud to know that they've designed the Grenada national wear, that when you have Grenada's team going to the Olympics and you see the outfit, that's Grenada.
Yes, yeah.
And 50 years from now, your grandchildren and your children could be saying, Mom or Dad designed that.
That's right.
And we're looking as well as, it's not just one outfit, it's 2 sets. Well, actually, we're talking about 4 sets of.
Yeah, well, you have the formal and casual, both male and female.
So 4 sets.
4 sets, yes.
Can a person enter and do only the formal or only the casual, or do they have to enter and do all 4?
Well, it's better for us if they do all 4, because you see, you don't want to say that you have this design that is formal and this is casual, and there's no relationship in the set, because you want to make sure that, as you mentioned, when you go out there, it is identified as the Grenadian national wear, whether you're in a casual occasion or formal occasion. So there must be some synergy. So it's best, and it's very simple, because once you get involved in doing the formal, which I think it would be the more difficult side, Doing the casual comes automatically because you're using some elements out of it,
to get the
yes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't it wouldn't be nice that, okay, let's say Devon designs the formal and the casual, and then the committee decides, okay, well, the formal that Devon does is nice, but the casual that Sheldon does is nice as well. And then there's no connection between the two.
No connection whatsoever. You can't, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
And the opportunity is there. For example, once the designs are, the judges would have determined what the 5 would be. Obviously, just like a calypso, they will give their comments.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the opportunity to look at the comments that the judges would give, and if there's a little adjustment here, a little color that maybe is too short or too long, that sort of thing. So I think it's an excellent opportunity. I just can't draw, I can't sew, I can't. I'm not a.
You could conceptualize though.
Yes.
I'm not at creating fashion. I'm creating other things.
And it is just nice all the time.
Yeah, well, I could put things together, but create.
So conceptualize.
I wanted to step back a bit when we were talking about organizations. This weekend coming up, it's the Emancipation Weekend.
Right.
Okay. And I just wanted to know in terms of CEDU's whole level of organization and what they are putting out. You have an opportunity to let people know.
Well, of course, CEDU falls under our umbrella, and we've been working along with them as well. And they have quite a number of activities planned for the weekend, and you refer to it as the Emancipation Weekend. When I'm finished, I'll step back to the Emancipation Day. I left it for the last. CEDU is geared up to have quite a bumper weekend. I know that they have a Queen show that's going to be taking place. They've been involving a lot of the communities. There's also a soca competition that they also have. The exhibition is going to be on again. And also they link up with the inspector for that Specky show on the Sunday. So it's going to be quite an active weekend in Rainbow City. If you look right now, and you're from up there, Devon, am I telling the truth?
That's why I asked the question. I wanted for you to reassure.
So why join the committee?
You
should be telling us. You should be telling us.
You all don't want me to explain that. That's a long
story. But if you look in Grenville right now, you would see that there are buntings all over the city.
It's beginning to.
All over the city, which you have not seen in a while. And they were able to get a sponsor to sponsor the decoration of the city. And it looks lovely.
I also see that they have their own headquarters.
Yes, they have. It's temporary, but they have an office that they've been using for a while. In Granbra, and sometimes they do have little activities there as well. They're working very hard, especially Arcada Ventu. She's really, really working hard at trying to make sure things happen. We try to guide them as much as possible. They've had their ups and downs. At a point in time, CEDU was in a position where every second person you spoke to, they said, well, CEDU owe me. They were able to deal with their debt portfolio, and they're debt-free at this point in time. As a matter of fact, I think the last little issue they had in terms of owing was a telephone bill or something like that.
Minor.
And they've taken care of that. I'm very proud that they would have brought themselves to this level. Because it was a challenge when you go to some of the business people, they tell you, well, we ain't going to pay for this since whatever. But they have worked at it, and we applaud them for that. We try to help them with the streamlining of the activities, because sometimes the human has a way of thinking, well, we can do this and we can do that and we can do that, but not thinking of the cost involved and what income are you generating as a result. So they've been streamlining and really trying their best to ensure that they can make things happen in a progressive way. We have to bear in mind, Devon, a lot of people figure that Rainbow City should be what it used to be. It cannot be what it used to be.
It would never be.
It's a different era, a different type of people, and all of that. So it's about moving forward and creating things that are more people acceptable at this stage. Young people have evolved. The older folks who very much into that era. They're no longer part of it. Yeah? And sometimes it's difficult to accept change, but I think gradually they're changing the dynamics of things in St. Andrew for the Rainbow City. And we've seen a bit of an improvement. I would like to see more, obviously. We've seen a bit of improvement over the last 2 or so years. We continue to ask the committee to broaden their membership. They're due for elections, and maybe Devon would put himself up for position.
Well, I was a member of the executive at one time, because of all the issues. I would love to.
Devon, the debt free.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
So it's starting on a good ground.
I'm concerned about the PR. Letting the people of St. Andrews know more of what CEDU is doing.
Well, that is something that we spoke to them about. What we have noticed, they now have a very strong presence online. Mm-hmm. But that is just one way of doing things. And you are correct, because the more you have people exposed to what you're doing, greater would be the buy-in, you know. So well taken. I believe that is a point that they need to continue to work on, to make sure that the people of St. Andrew know, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z. And there are a number of things that they've been doing throughout the year.
Yeah, and
they do things throughout the year.
I must
few projects.
Congratulate them for keeping the organization alive right through the year. Whereby before you used to see it come around January, February to organize for August and things. But my concern is that they need to get within the population of St. Andrews much more, the PR, the level of organization.
So when you join, you will make sure that's done.
Well, hey, if I'm part of it, I'm still a member, not a financial member. I must say that. But yeah, because it is something that can propel.
Is this water for me?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for your Glen Hills water.
Free advert.
They're looking to put me in drama. Anyhow, let me get to something though. Since we spoke about emancipation, I know that the Grenada Cultural Foundation usually has an emancipation commemoration. I don't want to say celebration.
It's commemoration.
Every year.
Yeah.
What can we look forward to in 2019?
But let me just say before we move there, Devon, the Freedom March that takes place on the August Monday, as they call it, Emancipation Monday, is done in St. Andrew. Now, you have to bear in mind that the commemoration of emancipation has been taking place in St. Andrew for years, and we applaud that, we accept it, and we work with it. So they have their big Freedom March on Monday. So let me get back to your question.
So they have that on Monday. That's one.
August Monday, which is called
it starts
Emancipation Monday.
You know where it starts and ends?
To be honest with you, I have the details for it. I'm not sure which route they're taking, because sometimes they do
it changes.
Sometimes they do from Carlton Junction. There are times when they do from Progress Park. But I certainly can give you that.
Committee message us. We're going to put it out for you.
Can I ask you to do a favor first? Could you contact some of the committee members responsible? Have them give us a call or step in.
Oh, sure.
They're listening.
Minutes.
Okay, that would more than likely to.
We'd love to have her, either by a phone or in public.
The next Cultural Foundation's Emancipation.
Yes, yes. Folks, Emancipation Day is the 1st of August. We must never forget that. That's the day our ancestors received their freedom, 180, can't remember off the bat, or 81 years ago or whatever. But the thing is, we seem to connect to that August Monday because it's a holiday, and the 1st is not a holiday. However, the government, this particular government, if I may say so, made a decision that this must be recognized as the official day of emancipation. I think back in maybe 2007, 6, somewhere around there. Yeah? And the Cultural Foundation has been vested with the responsibility to ensure that something takes place on that day. What we normally do, we try to pay homage to ancestors by recognizing 2 particular areas that are of historical significance through the whole process of the slave trade with our ancestors, our African ancestors. We're going to be starting out in the Melville Street Barracks. Now, the Melville Street Barracks, along that street, you have a number of dungeons. People remember where the Arnold John building is. There's one there where the Widelima, they have a set of malls. There's one there. Yes. I was also told that the RBTT building, there is even a basement there. I was told so recently.
RBTT, that's the
Carnac
junction
Hill there?
Yeah.
Yes, I was told that there is one there as well.
Okay.
Yeah? So what would happen? The ships would come in with their stores and their property, the slaves, and they would keep them in these dungeons, especially the one in the Melville Street Barracks. We used to open it up and have a viewing, put candles in there, and I'm telling you, when you enter in there, it's like a spiritual connection. It's like something holds you and say, hey, thank you for showcasing where we suffered. So they will keep them in these dungeons, no light, with the stores. The building is dilapidated, so we don't go into the dungeon anymore. But in that square, in the Melville Street Barracks, the basketball court, they will take them out. Just imagine coming out in this dark confinement, feces about the place, because that's how they kept them.
Smelly, dirty.
And then they bring them into light. After sometimes sitting in there for days. In the square, wash them down, grease them down, because they want them to look good, and in shackles and chain, and walk them through the streets to the market square and put them up for sale. All right? So we're going to be going to the barracks, and we were going to be laying a wreath as per usual, offering some prayers there and so on. And then we're going to take that trek that they took to the market with our Freedom March. We have Tumda with the drums. We have invited a number of they have a lot of summer schools going along now. We invited a few of them to bring the children out, We invite the general public and other organizations, and particular Devon and Sheldon. We want to encourage the Calisonians and the soca artists and these people to come out and be a part of this, because if that did not happen, we wouldn't be where we are today. You talk about jam music, eh?
So the same chain and thing that we drag in through town, and so
Thank you very much.
That's the first time we used to be dragging chain.
That's when and
we used to be greased.
Captivity.
And we used to be greased
as well. So we're gonna march with tumda, drumming, singing, etc. to the market square. We're gonna set up a tent, chairs for people who would like to sit. And 2 years ago, we erected a plaque, identification plaque, on one of the pillars in the market, so that when the tourists come, they can see what happened here. But that wasn't the only thing that happened in the market square, because you used to have a line of trees where they were hung as well, because, they used to have hanging of the slaves for whatever reason.
Even after Fedon's rebellion, they hung several slaves right there in the market square in town.
Collaborators.
So we're going to also be going there. We're going to have the reading of the proclamation. And, when you read that proclamation that gave our ancestors their freedom, it was a kind of wicked kind of document. I don't know if any of you have ever read it. But in the document, the Englishman was saying, midday on Emancipation Day in the market, saying, hey, you have your freedom. You can take it. It's yours. However, but when you get out there, you're on your own. Literally indicating to remain with Massa and work for Massa. Massa going to look after you, but you will still be a slave. You'll still be owned. You'll still be treated, and because if you go there, nothing there for you. You understand? And it tells you that the hesitation in the document, you feel it, You know, we
So
don't
they were
really want to
daring.
give you. We have to give you. But if you want to,
Take it. They
you
were
know.
daring them to take it.
And so the proclamation will be read. We will also be we have invited Bishop Harvey to do the prayers and so on in the market. We're going to lay a wreath. We have Carleen Rouse, Prayerman Rouse. She's going to be doing a poetry piece for us. And we have Tumda, where we usually sing some Negro spirituals and get involved in that kind of thing. And we also have Jefferson Ramirez, who is going to be doing a Negro spiritual song for us in the market. And that's the nature of the commemoration that's going to take place.
One of our people online is saying here, Hannah, one of our top listeners, is saying that there's also a basement in Arnold John, and I know that. There's a basement
one
there.
in Arnold John. It used to be a annex shoe store of the Granby's store long ago. Me and you would know them things.
As a child.
You would know that.
As a child.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of them basement is. Watch
Yeah.
so, you know.
And they're still there.
I ain't tongue long, you know.
Yeah.
Even at the bottom of Kopelani's.
Kopelani's, that whole
Bank,
street.
yeah.
That whole street.
Development Bank is right
I
there.
might know Kopelani's. I think a lot of people know Kopelani's.
You will know it in Trinidad.
Kopelani's was right where the bank is right now.
Development Bank.
And you had a postal store there at a point in time. So that is what we'll be doing for emancipation. It's a simple ceremony, but we believe that it's important that we show some respect, homage to our African ancestors. Let me just say this. When we talk about JAB, and we talk about, I use JAB as one of, but you have, the vehicle comes from the same principle. So is the short knee, you know. The Wild Indian was obviously patterned over our Carib and Arawak ancestors. But when we talk about Juvie, and we talk about JAB, where did it come from? You know, a lot of people say that Carnival is pre-Lenten and Carnival is European and French. Yeah? That is true in a European context. But our Caribbean Carnival is about emancipation. Interestingly, we end up with our Carnival in August.
I was about to say that the linkage.
Yeah? Unknowingly.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
But it's in its rightful place.
1982.
You understand, Sheldon? The God up there said, listen, this is where you belong, not in this pre-Lenten thing. That is European, that is the French, whoever. What happens here is some elements of it obviously came from the French Mardi Gras and the French pre-Lenten Carnival, some elements. Let us go back to Juve. You ever hear in New Orleans they have Juve?
I've never heard that terminology.
Thank you very much. Why it is we have Juve?
Unique.
Why it is we have Juve? And you ask this question, why it is so filled with that caricature, the jab? History tells us that the slaves, they knew the dates for somehow that they were going to be freed that day. And when you read, history says they waited with bated breath, waiting with anticipation for the early light of day, because they're not going to go out in the dark. The early light of that day, that early morning, PTJ,
5 o'clock.
yeah, to come out to celebrate their freedom. And when they came out, what did they come with? Costumes, old pan, old tear-up clothes. The jab, that's it. That's the genesis of jab, shortening, vehicle, our mass. That's nothing to do with the European pre-Lenten Carnival. I get kind of excited when I talk about these things because I see people in droves jumping up, jab, playing jab, and all of that. And to me, the same doctor out of UE said to me, are they aware of why it is this thing is what it is, meaning the jab? Do they know why it is they play this thing? Is it just for fun? Or do they understand the significance and the importance of it?
But the thing is, when I look
Emancipation.
when I look throughout, because I do some research myself, and you look at Haiti, and you realize there's a mass that's nearly exactly the same.
Very similar.
As Jab Jab here. In
Yes.
fact, they wear down to the horns.
Yes.
Although they wear their horns
Yes.
sometimes inverted,
Yes.
and they use charcoal and so on
That's
to,
right.
to darken their skin. And if you go south and you go into Suriname, French Guyana, they have a mask where they darken their skin as well. They put
There
on
were
the
slaves there.
tar and so on, and they put on some of these stuff, different color things in their mouth and so on with their red outfits and so on. It's similar again.
Because we all had to mimic Massa. We all had to find some way of mimicking Massa, and we use what we had to do it. And it is not that it's not something that is out there, but we have our own type and interpretation, which is unique to us.
Yeah.
It's unique to us.
And
we have the very best.
Yeah, the best of it all.
Yes.
I have just a comment. Pele,
Pele is it?
he says to teach you how to pronounce vehicle.
Well, I can pronounce. I know. Pele not even sure.
Don't get involved in Shuma
Pele
and
not-
Pele.
Pele and I have had a debate about the spelling, about the pronunciation. But again, we had traditional mass in Victoria
On Friday,
on Saturday.
How do you do?
And if you really, really want to see the true vehicle, is to go to Victoria. What we get these days in the stadium on Tuesday is an interpretation, an evolution of the mass. But if you really want to see the very cool, tear up clothes, pull in pole, similar, it's
Dragging old lion.
Yes, dragging old lion, dragging any old thing. Some of them look as though, well, they just wake up and grab whatever old piece of sheet or cloth and strip it. But that's the real tradition. The real tradition is right there, and it's right there in St. Mark.
And if you go across the pond and you look in Western Africa, and you go into Ghana in particular and the Ivory Coast, you realize that in their traditional costuming, there are a lot of elements of what we see both in Grenada and in Carriacou, from the Shakespeare mass and how they costume themselves. And you look at the Viacon or Vecon, however you want to pronounce it here and how you want to spell it. But you look at that and the short knee, and you realize that you could be watching one of those masks out of Africa and think it's a short knee.
Well, that's
and
where it
think
came
it's a Viacon. So it's the connection is still
the
there.
connection is very much there.
It's strong, very strong.
If I may say this, let us look a little bit at the Shakespeare mass in Carriacou. Yeah? That was, you ask yourself the question, why it is there is this mass in Carriacou, which you don't really find anywhere else. And then you look at the history of Carriacou and understand who the plantation owners, the mills, they were Scottish people. Yeah? And they also owned a little island outside or somewhere, I can't remember the name of the island, on the west coast in Africa. And they brought slaves with them to Carriacou. And Carriacou being a small island, it would appear, and Angus Martin and I, we've explored that and had that discussion. It would appear that these people read a lot of Shakespeare books. They weren't French. Right? They read a lot of Shakespeare books. And obviously we know that in slavery you had a reader. In most of the plantations there was someone who read. And generally the slaves learned to read from the Bible. This is why the old Jab would tell you reading passages from the Bible, because it's the Bible that was used by Massa. Remember, they converted into Christianity and all of that. Now Massa does not want the slave to read, so he has to camouflage himself when the jab started happening in their little backyard thing, whilst the French having their big Mardi Gras balls and so on, and Massa hearing this person, he shouldn't know who it is that's reading. Everybody black. How you gonna know it's me? How you gonna know it, Everybody look like one. So you don't know who is a reader. You don't know who know the language to read. When you look at the Shakespeare Mass, obviously the books that the slaves would have gotten there to learn to read English would have been Shakespeare books. Mm-hmm. And like the jab, Massa would kill them, crucify them if he know you're reading. So what do? They camouflage themselves. And in so doing, they protect themselves. This is why they have what they call a crown on the head with the wire, the whisk. Mm-hmm. Right? To protect themselves, and they pat it back. So when Massa catch them, it's Massa that used to beat them, not the other. When Massa catch them, they wouldn't be damaged from his licks to the head, to the back, etc. So they protect themselves. And that is Shakespeare Mass. Wow. So when you look at these things, you say to yourself, my goodness, our people, our African ancestors, they've left us so much. But not just on the surface, with a lot of deepness, because when you understand and analyze why it had to happen so, right? You see the sufferings. You see what they went through. Yeah? To give us the opportunity to celebrate this in this way today. Mm-hmm. So this is why emancipation is so important for us. Because if they didn't go through it, we wouldn't be celebrating that freedom that we have today. And we must take it serious.
And then I think you've done a wonderful job today of showing the connection between emancipation, the carnival, the jab itself, because a lot of people just play jab, they throw on oil and they run up and down the street and I play jab, I that jab, and they jump
one
up
good
and
thing
down.
they're going back to coals and oil, so instead of the tar and stuff.
See some guys using Decaz petroleum jelly, they said the jab smelling fresh.
But Sheldon, one thing I want to say to you on the emancipation thing, we were able, with the help of Angus Martin, to have a collection of a number of slaves that were freed on Emancipation Day in Grenada. And what we have done over the years, we have produced cards, which we give out on Emancipation Day mainly. If you want a list, you can get it anytime. And these cards actually tell you the estate the slave worked on, any marks, who was the owner of the estate, whether they were born here or whether they were, they're African. Some indicate the tribe they belong to. Very, very important and valuable information. On these cards, I think the youngest was a child around 3 years old as a slave, so born into slavery. And there was a lady who was 90-something years old, when they were freed. But then you start to analyze some of them and you see a missing hand, a missing foot, scar on the disc, one eye, Mm-hmm. And it didn't just happen just like that. Yeah? That's the suffering. That's the price they paid. When you hear about a missing hand on a slave, you know that it's some little thing he did and Massa actually cut off his hand. Mm-hmm. Or he tried to run away
for
and
Massa to lose that money, it had to be that.
Massa cut off his foot. Mm-hmm. That's the price they paid.
Well, here's what, because I know you have to run off.
Yes, I do.
I know that's what they're calling you there for now. But I'm seeing some people calling from overseas and some people calling locally. I want to give them just a few minutes to get their calls in. So, folks, you can call right now. If you had a call, right now because, Miss Wells must leave.
Please apologize for the call.
Yeah, but she must leave in a short while. That's why they keep calling her right now, because she's late for another meeting. It's only getting to the talk. That's what has happened. And just to give you quickly some of the Garfield says good morning. Garfield Patterson says good morning to you. And Depot is saying that seek funding for restoration of a historic and historical replicas because they must be preserved for the sake of posterity.
Yeah.
When the voices of our historians are stilled, history can speak loudly through the pillars of past without interpretation. The passageway from the wharf to Sanssouci, the pit stop by Sandals Tunnel, where the privileged class paid peasants to take their waste basins and po on their heads. And we have a caller.
That's depot.
Yeah, depot. We have a caller online.
Good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning, Miss Shoma Wells. Pleasure listening to you this morning.
Oh, thank you,
Sheldon
sir.
Devon.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate all of your historical that you shared with us this morning, Miss. I'm calling from Brooklyn. I will hopefully be there for the Emancipation Day on Monday. All right. But my main reason is calling. I'm seeking permission. First of all, I would like to sit down with Miss Shoma Wells when I come home. I will get in touch with her. All right. Later on. Secondly, Sheldon, I need permission to incorporate part of this morning's segment into market time on Saturday.
Man, do what you want. That's yours.
Who are we speaking
We're speaking to Wade. He broadcasts the program in Brooklyn right now. Well, we know his radio.
Okay. Well.
Wade Gibbs.
But he doesn't remember me.
When you see me, you'll know your
Well, I
name.
look forward to seeing you.
But you can go ahead, man.
All right.
Okay, brother.
All right, guys. Once again, a very, 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 very powerful, very informative show this morning. I have to say that. And Sheldon, you did say it's going to be a great one and it's a surprise.
Yeah, told you that. Okay, bro.
On behalf of all the diaspora, I'd like to say thanks this morning. Very appreciative.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Depot is trying to claim you as a wharf girl, and I know if
Well,
you
I
get
grew
through
up
that.
close enough on Tyrrell Street, but I know Depot. And I don't know why you all say Depot. It's Depot.
It's
from
Depot.
Depredine.
Okay, Depot.
You know, anything Caranage, anything Wharf, anything Tongue, he will put you right
You
on
know,
it.
and while we say that, it's a sort of sad moment for me because we lost a major
Dr.
wharf
Thomas,
man,
yes.
and we can't finish Hard Talk today without at least saying our condolences to the Caranage fraternity and to the Thomas family, and Grenada on a whole on the loss of Dr. Winston Thomas.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
The only thing I'm sorry about. I'm really, well, one of the things I'm sorry about is that we did not give him the national award that he deserved before he closed his eyes. We spoke about it, Devon, coming around independence. We spoke about it. We even spoke when he called. We told him straight up, you deserve a national award.
But let me say this,
But
Sheldon.
we didn't make the recommendation.
I blame both you and Devon.
We didn't make the
Well, you just
recommendation.
said it.
That's the
You
problem.
People have to understand this. They sit there and they say, oh, they get this person award, blah, blah, blah. Every Grenadian have an opportunity to recommend someone for the national awards.
Yeah.
You know,
We
so
didn't do it.
Don't sit by and say, well, this person should have and da 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 da. If you didn't recommend. So I blame the two of you.
Yeah, we did.
How about that?
We take that responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah, so we take full responsibility for that. And I'm going to say no, that I have not heard an MBE behind Shoma Wells' name.
Oh, come on.
I have not heard her name. I've heard her being on stage calling out all kind of awards for other people.
For years.
But I am absolutely sure, you know me, I just do some out of the way things on already. So I'm going to say now that I believe that sitting before us is a person who is more than deserving of not only recognition by Her Majesty, but recognition by Grenada. So either at the New Year's Awards or for the Independence Awards, we must be hearing the name Shoma Wells there. You don't say nothing.
I want to ask you that, Shoma. You had the opportunity to work with at least all governments from since in the 70s, right?
Yes. I worked through a lot of governments. I must admit, revolutionary and otherwise. You would remember me back in Radio Free Grenada. I worked in television. Joe Pitt television days.
Joe Pitt, Lord,
television.
We have a caller online.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to both of you all and Miss Wells.
Good morning.
I'm so impressed. I turned on late. Miss Wells, this is so important of all you saying. Sometimes I hate to go back in history. It gets me so emotional.
Yes, it does.
But this thing should be to go back into the school and really impart to the children. And even get the school children maybe to bring out some of these character is what you are talking about. Please, I hope next year, please God, that you will really try to establish some of these things and only going to the schools all over Grenada and impart some of this knowledge. Thank you all so much. Very, very interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and our overseas callers running the route this morning.
Well,
Yes, Miss Wells, we're going to take 5 more minutes of your time because we know you got to go.
We have done some schools, but we need to do more. There's a lot to impart, and I really, every year I try my best to say to the artists and the mass players and so on out there, do not take emancipation for granted. That is why we're here today. Show some appreciation. Come out and support the initiatives by both us and CEDU, and show that you understand and appreciate what you have been given. The joy that you have with you today when you sing or dance or play mass, it didn't just happen just like that.
It was the pain and suffering years ago.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. When the guy lost his foot or his hand and he suffered for his freedom, because it was freedom he was looking for.
Oh, yes.
Nothing else. Freedom.
That's why we're dancing without feet?
Right, well, exactly. That is what you're
dancing
talking without feet. When the guy ran away for his freedom and he's caught, and Massa cut out his foot or finger or whatever, it's his freedom he was going after. The freedom that we have today that in most instances we take for granted.
Yes, indeed.
It's not asking much.
Miss Sherma Wells, we'd like to offer you a last chance to speak to the Grenadian public on whatever issue the Grenada Cultural Foundation wants to speak to them on in the next couple of minutes as we close off this segment of the program. And folks, we ain't letting her get away because she's been asking for a long time to come on in
That's true.
And it's me and Devon have been hard-headed. So you realize she had to come back soon.
Oh,
we were scared a bit.
she had to come back soon. Because we have a lot to talk about. Outside are the tunnels around town and the basements around town and some of the... there's a lot that the Grenada Cultural Foundation has been doing. A lot. I don't think a lot of us, especially outside of Grenada, realize what the foundation has been doing. Some of the community groups, because they've been relating with the foundation, they know what they've been doing. But a lot of other people need to get involved. Yeah? And those of you with your videos and your audio tapings and your photographs and so on, contact Miss Wells at the Cultural Foundation so we could start storing those things.
Storing them.
And recording them.
We can put you up on our website. We also have a registration process, and we call on all practitioners in the cultural industry to register with us. Sometimes we ask for recommendations for different people, for jobs and so on. People having a concert or some hotel, for example, would want to have someone to perform. They usually would refer to the Cultural Foundation. As a matter of fact, Sheldon, we are in the process of getting involved in an MOU, which we will be discussing soon, with GTA as it relates to performers and performances for the cruise ship season. So again, if you know that you have your talent and you have your, please call us, register with us, because that is the pool that we start to draw from. Yeah? And that list, as a matter of fact, I will tell you this, when they were doing the, the cultural industry, I want to get it right for the region, we were able to provide a lot of pertinent information to the organization as it relates to our cultural practitioners. So don't take the Cultural Foundation for granted. Use it at your best.
We have one more caller because they call on the overseas line. We're just letting them through.
Well,
caller,
what can I say?
You have 30 seconds.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yep,
yes.
You have 30 seconds.
I had this weekend sexual relations with a suspect individual.
Nah, you're calling the wrong program, boss. I think it's this program you wanna call to.
Call the doctor program.
Yeah, let's call the doctor or something.
Call the doctor in the U.S. Certainly not in Grenada.
Wrong program.
Something went wrong there, Sheldon.
Yeah, something went definitely wrong, boss.
Oh my goodness! But I just want to say this, Sheldon, and maybe you mentioned something about radio and all of that. A lot of folks know me as media. They know me in television and in radio. Well, that's another side to who I am. Yeah? Diversification in life is extremely important. However, I've been involved in the cultural fraternity for over 40 years. Yeah, people that ain't old as that. You know?
Don't watch my direction, so
right,
man.
and I have always been culturally aware. I spent most of my teenage vacation in the La Poterie, River Antoine area. And what do you have there? The Carriacou. I play a lot of domino. A lot of people know I could handle myself well playing domino. I've listened to my people. I love old people. They tell you the stories. They, you know, and when you understand your culture and who you are, it's a beautiful thing. It's a peace of mind that you get because you know who you are. I am of different backgrounds, obviously, looking at me. I find I look very white on that screen, though. Y'all have there. I just don't understand it.
We overlight you.
Me and Devon, same color.
We light. You see the lighting.
I want to feel like you're bleaching.
We have light right behind me.
You know, so I'm very proud to be a Grenadian, and I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of my African, Indian, white ancestry. But when I look at my African history, it is so deep and so profound, and it wants you to latch on to it and understand it and preserve it. Yeah? You cannot ignore the struggles. You cannot ignore, and you know, we talk about us having a sense of humor as a people. It didn't just happen just like that.
Mm-hmm.
When the job started talking, and the job started to talk about spelling cap, you know the way. Cap, spell, whatever. Cap, spell. The humor, the sense of humor that comes out of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes us. I mean, they used to call some real big bad words too, but still.
even the short knee, when you hear a short knee start to chant and so, and he give everybody business and so, but he give it in such a humorous manner. And so it's part of the thing.
It's so beautiful. But I'm saying this to say, Sheldon, getting back to me and the cultural foundation. One of the things that I say to people, yes, I am media. That's where I've been most of my life as in a career area. But I also have spent the time qualifying myself as it relates to business, etc. And that combined with my history and culture and everything, you know, becomes very much effective where I am today in the cultural foundation. So people see me only in media, but they don't realize that there's more to me than just media.
Who don't know you?
You know? So there I am.
I know.
You know. He ought to know.
But I must say before you go, at least, I think more effort should be made in creating that linkage, although it's not as unknown, between emancipation and carnival. I think it was a brilliant idea by the revolution to introduce carnival in August. Because remember, it was in May.
It went to May.
81,
and then it went to August in 82. Yeah.
Right, so,
and that and listen to me. I don't think it was from the gods. It was from the ancestors. You can't tell me otherwise because I don't think they themselves during the revolution knew why for that purpose. They brought it to August because they saw it as a better economic time and so on and so forth. But when you look at, you say to yourself, wow.
Fall right in place.
Right in place.
So we must enhance and create that linkage for people to see.
Yeah. So folks, please, when you're thinking carnival and you're thinking, whatever costume you're in or job or whatever, think emancipation. Think why you are here, why it is you're enjoying this so much. Freedom is a beautiful thing. And it should not also be abused.
Folks, that's all the time we have with Miss Wells this morning, but not all the time for Hard Talk. We still have a few minutes. We have another guest actually outside waiting to come in.
Oh, my goodness.
And we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Groovy Monarch 2019.
Oh, Sheldon, don't forget Children's Frolic coming up as well on Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
So
can't forget the children.
The reigning Groovy Monarch And we have quite a few others coming up. We're going to give you a rundown of the finalists for all the competition. But the reigning Groovy Monarch, we're going to play a little piece of tune from him. Yeah, we're going to play just a little piece. While Miss Wells heads to that meeting, they're calling her for every 2 minutes.
Have a nice day, everybody.
The strength of the iron, it's in the testing. Bring them up. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. Be grateful for your blessings. You've been digging deep to find that inner strength. No, it's not the time to give up. No, nah. I'm telling you nothing that will never defeat. Where we control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. I feel so irate. Wake up and I ready. Must make it ever steady. Setting goals is necessary while they hide. Precious time they wasting like a disease. It starts spreading. Know which if they eyesight. I say I don't know why. Some will worry about our next man's stride. Try to match up our next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking on, you want to make something must be wrong, your man. I don't come here for that. All you help me one and that's it. I'm telling you nothing that will never defeat. Where we control with your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. I'm telling you, rule number one, we don't come to beg nothing from them. I'm telling you, the people music, look everybody chanting. I'm telling you, in people business while we come to me blessings. I'm telling you, don't direction time so help me broadcasting message. No bad vibes on my side. We fuel by motivation. Keep sending out good signals. Pay attention to your audience. Let your light shine. What's for you will be for you. With the real ones rooting for you. Just let your energy introduce. You can say I don't know why. So we'll worry about our next man's stride. Try to match up our next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking on, you want to make something must be wrong, your man. I don't come here for that. All you help me one and one see I'm telling you. I'm telling you nothing that will never defeat. Where control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. I'm telling you, rule number one, we don't come to beg nothing from them. I'm telling you, the people music, look everybody chanting. I'm telling you, in people business while we come to me blessings. I'm telling you, don't direction them so help me broadcasting message. I'm telling you, we are still pumping. Yes, it's how we run things. We happy time to let it show. Make a jump, push the company around. Lift the chin up, free up and head up. We have some blessings before we head out. Before we leave here, we have to yell out. I'm telling you nothing that will never defeat. Where we control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up.
Yes, indeed. Wait, I pull up the wrong thing for my music. Let's just say Groovy Monarch will be very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I ain't saying who go win, but I'm saying that Groovy Monarch will be very interesting. This one is for Mame. All right, we have in studio with us Miss Duncan. Yeah, same Duncan we always call in every 2 minutes. For those of you that never get a good view of Miss Duncan, you're seeing Miss Duncan now. And Miss Duncan, I know you come to talk about something, but let me put a quick pin in it before, because I need to big up somebody. I need to big up Damian Daniel.
Oh, yeah. The big man himself.
The man didn't just go and win the competition. And he went and he mashed it up. Yeah. He mashed up the competition. Yeah. He is now the first Grenadian ever to... He's gone pro. And this is his 16th straight victory. And he has now gone pro. He's the first Grenadian bodybuilder to qualify now for the World's Championships. So he's on the big stage now.
Wow,
them thing
really
where Joe Weider and Ben Weider and them used to be on. All you know what them thing. This is bodybuilding. I used to do bodybuilding back in the days. Strange as it may sound. No, my father was a bodybuilder. So Joe Weider and them fellas and them there. Yeah, he's actually gone to that stage now.
I was about to say, I ain't see the signs. I ain't see the signs there, father.
I stopped the fire years now, man. But he's gone to the world. He's qualified now for World Championships and so. and remains undefeated in his last 16 outings. 16 outings he's remained undefeated. He is the number one in the region as it is right now for bodybuilding. A member of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Big up.
And and we know that they're proud of him. The only thing I'm looking for Sekou to come and go in competition too now. Up me ease up and thing, man. You gotta go, you gotta follow them, you gotta go too. Nice. Congratulations from the new National Party. So we must send out those congratulations to you, sir. Right, and we hope. Well, I know you're on the airport right now. Where it is, but I think he probably in St. Kitts or somewhere, and he's trying to get back right now. So I know you had a little delay. But again, and remember the Pan Am team is out there. The Pan American team, they're out there right now, and we're looking forward to that. And our swimming team, they're coming back with our gold medal, from China. I have to get the name of the young man. I think it would be remiss of us if we don't mention his name during the week. He's coming back. But folks, on a sadder note, as we mentioned a little earlier while we were speaking to Sherman, I'm going to do this one quickly. We have a statement from our political leader on the passing of Dr. Winston Thomas. And, once you know the emergency room, once you know the general hospital, or once you listen to radio programs or you're a wharf man, you must know Tomo. You must know Dr. Winston Thomas. It's a gentleman, he gave above and beyond. And the statement reads, on behalf of the chairman, executive, and members of the New National Party, I express how deeply saddened we are to learn of the passing of Dr. Winston Thomas, a medical stalwart and an exemplary citizen of the state of Grenada. There are no words to express the void felt by his passing. He was our brother and a valuable member of our team. Today we stand in shared sorrow and pain for a life lost, but we stand in comfort and gratitude for a well-lived life and a contribution well made to the development of this nation. For more than 20 years, Dr. Thomas was a fixture of the healthcare landscape in Grenada, giving of his time and talent generously and selflessly in the practice of his profession. He was often found traversing the highways and byways, bringing service to the less fortunate. On a community level, Dr. Thomas was for decades a staunch political organizer and an ardent student of politics. We in the New National Party were fortunate to have his skill and commitment in the last 2 electoral cycles as he worked to ensure the best representation was secured for the town of St. George. Many of our citizens will remember him for his soft-spoken but convincing stance on national issues, as he was a regular caller on various radio and television programs throughout the country. He never failed in giving his advice and calling us, politicians, out when he needed to. He was not the type of friend or supporter who would only tell you what you wanted to hear. Our young people, and indeed all of us, can learn much from this principled, humble, and generous public servant. Dr. Thomas, our brother, we will miss you. Your work on earth was well done, and you deserve to rest in perfect peace. On behalf of the New National Party and the people of Grenada, I express heartfelt sympathy to the family and friends of this noble gentleman, our forever friend, Dr. Winston Thomas. And that is on behalf of the New National Party, our political leader, on the passing of Tomo, Dr. Winston Thomas. I could imagine Cammy this morning. Oh, goodness. I ain't even measuring to try and pass by Cammy this morning.
I nearly didn't come up here, trust me.
Yeah.
I reached by her and that was it.
Yeah, it's a difficult. I know it's a man this morning, so he'd have been calling. He would have been calling into the program. So that release is gone out on behalf of the New National Party. But Ms. Duncan, let me try and brace ourselves because we're going in. All right, we're going in. Yeah, NNP fed.
All day fed.
All day fed.
All day.
Not part
long.
of the day, the whole day.
Not part of the day. All day long.
Well, yeah, a week early this year, girl.
We are week early.
Usually does be the morning after Soca Monarch. So this year you are a week early.
Well, yes, you see, because most of us that are working on that day, we also attend Soca Monarch. So it's a bit difficult for us to, go to Soca Monarch, get to, home at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then get no chance to rest. You have to come here and work. Of course, we enjoy what we do, but, we're a little glad this year that it's a week before the Soca Monarch.
And gives a little more time for people who want to attend some of the other activities they have on that Saturday. You have Panorama, correct. You have this, you have that,
yes,
and so on.
That's correct. That's correct. So on Saturday, of course, we have our annual all-day fete. We start at 11. Now, when I say we start at 11, I mean that food will be served at 11 o'clock. But of course, we will be here very early in the morning preparing, making sure that everything is set up, of course, for your comfort and your entertainment. It's an opportunity for us to, come and meet with our parliamentary representatives, our political leader, our friends and families, because we do have a lot of foreigners that pass through during that time.
I won't have you. We're not foreigners. We are Grenadians who are overseas and we come home.
Right. A lot of our family and friends overseas that are coming back, for the carnival season to visit. They come and spend the day with us as well. But it's also an opportunity for us to give our support to the party, which is important. And, of course, general socialization. That is also a big aspect of Grenadian culture, especially around this time, where all of our people find whatever means we can to socialize, drink a bottle, eat some oil down, the general excuse for socialization, right? We have a very, very packed menu. We have things like vegetable rice, pela, we have curry goat, we have barbecue chicken, barbecue pork, we have fish, grilled, fried, however you want it, we have it. We have pig foot sauce, we have breadfruit. So we have a number of things that day, and of course not forgetting oil dung. We must have oil dung. We have a few calypsonians and soca artists that are going to come through, give us their support, and of course give us some entertainment as well. Now the tickets, Sheldon, are only $10, right?
So explain to me how this thing works, because all our food I hear calling out and you're saying $10.
Right, it's $10 per serving. So you come and you want a serving of, let's say, oil dung. That's $10. If you want your barbecue and your vegetable rice, or your barbecue and your salad, or whatever it may be you want your barbecue chicken or pork with, you can get it. It's per serving. But for $10, you definitely are going to get your money's worth. I can guarantee that. And of course, we have a solid bar. And let's not leave out the children. In the event that you want to carry your children along with you, you can. We do have games. We have face painting, of course, for the children. So they too can come and join in on the fun. And all of this is happening here at Mount Helicon on Saturday. And you can come from 11 o'clock. Don't say, well, Grenadians starting things late. I will come from 2 because you're going to miss half of the day already. We start at 11 o'clock promptly because we are here doing the groundwork, preparing from at least 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nice. So we gain real food.
Real food.
So I get in a pre-lunch and then I get in a lunch. Then I get in a post-lunch, I get in a tea break, and I still get dinner.
Of course, and we have food coming through all day.
I might even get a midnight snack if I hang around long enough.
If you hang around long enough, yes. Yeah. We have food coming through all day. So the food is not just being prepared in the morning and they're dropping it off, and then 5 o'clock in the evening you're wondering if it's good food you're getting. We have food coming through all day long. So you're coming and you're meeting fresh food in the afternoon, so you don't have to worry about that. So we're asking everybody, just come out, give your support, and have a good time with us, because it is going to be a good time.
What about little games and so for, not the children, but for...
Well, we do have games for adults. We have, I am actually in control of that. Right? So you come and you want to play some dominoes, you want to play some cards. Hopefully I get somebody to finally teach me how to play all fours. I've been begging. I want to learn to play all fours. I've never gotten anybody that wants to teach me. So hopefully on that day, get somebody to teach me a little all fours. So we have that. We have dominoes. We do have adult games.
Nice. Beautiful. So that is happening at the Mount Helicon. So, I mean, all you don't know where Mount Helicon is. Upper Lucas Street, right across from the police band house. Yeah, Mount Helicon. You're heading up there. Last year it had Soca in Dashville.
Yes.
Right, where Dashville was, that is where it is taking place. All right, so right there self. So you want curry mutton. Is it curry mutton? Or is it, I think Honorable Bola was telling us the other day, it have another name.
Sheep is mutton.
Right, so
but
goat is.
Goat, yeah. So just say
goat is called what?
So just chew goat.
Chiffon is goat, yes.
Chiffon is goat.
So curry chiffon.
But Grenadians already, we are accustomed to curry goat. Yeah. So when you come and you eat, whether it's sheep or chiffon you're eating, it's curry goat.
Curry goat.
Yes.
So curry chiffon. That thing so high class.
Oh my God, that delicacy.
So a man come in here, we have curry shiver, huh? Come and try curry shiver, but I good. I good. So they can get all of that. But I hear the bar supposed to be Antarctica style.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear whatever you're looking for, you go have it inside it.
And the original Antarctica, and not the one after climate change.
Okay.
The original one.
With all the snow and all the cool and all the kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's going to be taking place, folks, at the Mount Helicon this Saturday.
Yes.
This Saturday. I hear some fellas say that they ain't eating from Friday because they want to make sure that they have enough space to eat on Saturday.
They will catch gas. Let it go ahead.
Now, wait, coming. Wait to be here.
And don't worry, we have preparations for that. If you come with a little gas, we'll give you some tea first.
All right,
wonderful. We can give you some hot tea and prepare you.
Yes.
Right? So that's not a, yes, gas is not an excuse.
We food. Yes, indeed, folks. Yeah. So we have that coming up. Also, I know St. Mark's has a cruise coming up a little later in August as well, folks. Check with the St. Mark's constituency branch. They have a cruise that's coming up in August. And that cruise does be nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I already secured my ticket already, so it's up to all you know. Find Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest Cohen and secure your ticket.
Tickets,
yeah. All you have tickets up here?
No, we don't have any, but we're getting. Yes, but we can secure. You can call our office, 440-1875 or 1876, and we can secure tickets for you, or we can direct you as to where you can purchase those tickets as well.
Yes, indeed.
And of course, for the tickets for all day, we don't have any outlets where you can purchase the tickets. But that does not mean that you can't still come and buy on the day. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to have a ticket to be able to get a serving of food. You can come and you can just buy your chits. We have chits on sale, and you can purchase your tickets that way. But if you want to get, a bulk of tickets beforehand for maybe you and your family, you can call us as well at 440-1875 or 1876. And we can supply you with those tickets.
Okay.
Or, of course, you can call your constituency office because they as well have tickets that they are selling. So you can call them as well and you will get tickets.
Okay, folks. Also, just to let those of you in St. David know, the Youth Parliament for St. David, that is taking place at the Wester Hall Secondary School from 3 p.m. tomorrow. So for those of you that want to head out to the Youth Parliament, support the youth of St. David. They have the Youth Parliament taking place tomorrow. And you can check Lyndon Joseph and Renwick Felix. Their bus will be running, transporting persons from Windsor Forest and Pedmota and surrounding areas. Neilon Pascal, he will be leaving Latant at 2 p.m. So interested persons can contact on 457-4016. So St. David Youth Parliament taking place tomorrow. And St. David is that kind of place, that is where all kind of thing like all kind of revolutionary movements and so on does take place and them kind of thing. So folks, come out and hear the youth of St. David tomorrow.
So Sheldon, my coworker would never forgive me if I don't mention this because this is her baby. Mm-hmm. On that day as well, we have a sweet table. Where we'll have all the good stuff, all our cakes and our cheese straws and, snacks for the children, fudge, sugar cake, you name it, and we have it, right? So she'll never forgive me if I don't remember this because this is her baby. That's her pet peeve. That's what she's working on, So come out and support us. It's really going to be a good time.
Yes, indeed. Folks, we nearly out of time, Devon. Get the people the fogging schedule because here all kind of mosquito-borne viruses and all kind of things. Let me take that quick because we nearly out of time.
Fogging schedule for Tuesday, the 30th of July. Okay, the areas, the Carnage and the surrounding areas, including Green Street and Herbert Blaze Street from 5 p.m. Okay, that's tomorrow, Tuesday, 30th of July. The Carnage and its surroundings, including Green Street and Howard Blaze Street from 5 p.m. So those of you in these areas, taking necessary precautions and so, keep your windows and your doors open and everything like that. And the elderly and those with asthmatic problems, you kind of keep them away for a couple of hours or so. Okay, so don't forget.
And folks, remember, because I've seen a report on CNN now of another virus that has started in Florida now, some EEE. It affects the brain. The mosquitoes bite you and it affects the brain. And they found increased numbers of that in Florida. And we know we have loads of people that leave those areas coming down to Spice Mass right now. So, folks, we need to eradicate mosquitoes. We only wait until we hear one of these things and them reach before we start to clean. True. Clean up now.
And Devon,
this one worse than Zika and everything, because when the mosquito affects you, it basically shuts down your brain. And you know what that means.
Yeah. And Devon, something you said that's very important as well. Leave your windows and doors open. You know, we have a tendency when the people fog in to close our doors because that's too much smoke, and then we say the fogging not working. I can say because I'm probably guilty of that at some time. So it's important for us to reiterate that they should leave their doors and their windows open. And of course, if they have people with asthmatic conditions or respiratory conditions, that they should just get them out of the area until, the fogging subsides.
Yep, very important.
Yes, indeed. Folks, tomorrow morning, we're going to be starting with a post-cabinet press briefing and then moving fully into Hard Talk. We'd like to congratulate all of the finalists at the various competitions over the weekend. In the Groovy Monarch, we have Killer B, Pappy Boy Vaughn, Looney Spark Electrify, Brother B, Crave, Sheldon Douglas, Terror the Governor, Top Cat, and Blazer. That's in the Groovy. And in the Soca Monarch finalists, we have Dash, Inspector, Skulldog, Terror the Governor, Ronnie J, Lil Kerry, Leadneck, Looney Spark Electrify, Vaughn, and Boy Z. And for the Junior Calypso Monarch finalists, we have Mini 9, Corey, Jaden, King Kadim, Kate, Young Legend, Christy, Wonder Boy, Princess Shade, and Mini Axe. And for the Calypso Monarch final, the March Grand Night, we have Stunner, Candy, Baraka, Prince, Cox, Randy Isaac, Beast, Sour Serpent, and Valley Ned. So those are the finalists for the various competitions coming up. And we also look forward to seeing the king and queen of the band and them kind of thing. You understand? And
the queen show.
That does be extra special and queen show, coming up. So, folks, that's all. And Steel Pan, we have Steel Pan coming up. Depot that never let us go.
Junior and Senior Panorama coming up.
Depot wasn't letting us forget that one.
Carnival Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
Starts at 2 p.m. Okay?
Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to... wait, before we say that, you have any final words, Ms. Duncan?
No, I think I've said all that I need to say. I'm just looking out for everybody.
You're coming back during the week?
Come and ask for me,
You're coming back during the week?
Back during the week.
Right.
Yes, of course.
So, folks, that's all the time we have. And as we said, be safe, be secure. I want to be speaking to and with you.
Not about you.
Love each and every one of you. Watch, I feel we will take a little jab with him out.
We took the authentic thing off the street.
Capital Mad Mass. When the job them start to team up. Job we play, job we play, job we play.
Another explosive celebration of cultural ecstasy has dawned upon us. One that every citizen, every visitor, and every nation has come to relish because of our unique carnival with its multiple diversity. I am Kemik DeGale, your 2018 reigning carnival queen. It has been a pleasure to share and embrace the warmth of your hearts. As we forge ahead to yet another immaculate experience, I invite you all to participate in the pinnacle of celebration on August 12th and 13th. Be amused by the traditional mass and kiddies carnival frolic. Come share in the harmonious sound of the steel pan, the sweet rhythms of the groovy, the frenzy of Soca Monarch, and the hard-biting lyrics of Calypso. Majestic Thursday on August 8th will be a night that celebrates beauty and encapsulates women power. Oh yes, our famous World Juve noted for our jab jab, our electrifying display of light and mass on Monday night, and the showcase of picturesque fancy mass. Let's dig deep within our roots and cultural awareness and run with building another spectacular carnival.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated. Grenada's economy is heading for its 7th year of consistent growth, averaging over 5%. Unemployment was reduced by 20%, while debt to GDP ratio was reduced from 108% to 63.5%. NNP committed to the economic and social development of our people. NNP delivering on the promise. Grenada's economy is heading for its 7th year of consistent growth, averaging over 5%. Unemployment was reduced by 20%, while debt to GDP ratio was reduced from 108% to 63.5%. NNP committed to the economic and social development of our people. NNP delivering on the promise.